No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Welcome back, y'all, to the real Evvonne. Sorry it took me so long. Actually, I'm not sorry, because y'all know how I am. I don't like to do like some people, just throw videos up left and right without no type of real research into a matter. That's not me. So anyway, here we go. Oh, if you don't like so-called bad words, which is another bullshit thing, you don't like them, click the fuck off now. Because if that's all you're going to focus on in this video, that means you don't want to know what the truth is. Okay, truth police? I'm sorry, language police. So go ahead, click the fuck off now. So for everybody else that wants to know what the fuck is really going on, let's go. So like I said, this is about the so-called autopsy report for someone named allegedly Kenneka Jenkins, okay? And just stay with me, because I know people can be on there feel like, why she keeps saying that anymore. And I'm going to just take out there. I'm not going to read everything word for you. You're welcome to pause this if you want. Matter of fact, I'll put the link in the description box so you can go read the entire report yourself if you want. But I highlighted things that I want to focus on, and so this is not too long. So one of, they noted about the color clothes and stuff, and they were saying that accompanied the body was a left gray shoe. One shoe, okay? It's like, okay, where the fuck, why she didn't have both shoes on? They also want to talk about that the body, a black female, and they said the body weighs 159 pounds, is 66 inches in length, and and appears compatible with the reported age of 19 years. Remember I told y'all before, always pay attention to words. Said appears compatible with the reported age of 19. Can't you still kind of tell how old some, you know what I mean? Just by even, anyway. This is the thing that got me. When they start talking about like piercings and stuff like that, and they said that in each nipple or the breast, they said it is remotely pierced once. And there's a multicolored barbell type stud in each piercing defect. They said the abdomen, your stomach, is slightly rounded. No, that does not mean somebody's pregnant or whatever like that. That just fuck, if you got some fat there. And then it went on to say that the clitoris hood is remotely pierced. So they're trying to say that body had a piercing there also. Remember, we were talking about 19. I'm not saying that that's not possible. Clearly, 19-year-olds get all types of, tattoos and piercing. I'm just letting you know. And they said, and that piercing had a white metal barbell type, stud in it. But they didn't mention a belly button tattoo. I'm sorry, they didn't mention the belly button piercing. Okay, they didn't mention that at all. We're gonna get to the tattoo part, but they didn't mention that. So you mentioned the clitoris and the nipples is piercing, but you didn't mention the belly button piercing. Remember I told y'all, pay attention to words. You would see that. You would definitely see that. Even the pictures they release, y'all. Oh, just so you know, I ain't forget. The next video following this is gonna be me breaking down those so-called Kenneka Jenkins the crime scene photos or whatever like that. Okay, I'm gonna need y'all to. So that's directly after this one. So don't worry, y'all. I got y'all. But that's my point. Even in that, you see a a piercing in the belly button, but they didn't mention that in the autopsy report. Why not? I mean, remember, this is supposed to be the Kenneka Jenkins they trying to pass off to us as somebody named Kenneka Jenkins, and they kept showing us all these pictures, on these so-called real pages, and all these pictures, well, not all of them, we had the belly button piercing, but then they didn't mention this in the autopsy, but they mentioned other parts that we never even heard of, as far as her having piercings in. Tattoos. They said that there was tattoos on the lower right and left sides of the stomach and the back. They also say that all body organs are present in the normal, in the normal positions, basically. Now, then they also say when you get into the respiratory system, they said there is a mild, y'all, I'm going to fuck the word up. That's why I highlighted, got a red arrow there. You can just say it yourself. I don't give a fuck if somebody think I'm illiterate. I don't care. This is not English class. There's a mild anthracosis. They put a period right there. They said the right lung is bilobate, meaning instead of it being three, there's only two lobes, and it's supposed to be three lobes for the right lung. They said there's no middle lobe. No middle lobe is present. It's like, okay, where the fuck did the middle lobe go? Okay. They said the right lung weighs 238 grams, and the left lung weighs, oh, what the fuck am I doing? 238 grams, and the left lung weighs 193 grams. Now, back to this anthracosis, in case you don't know what that means. It's basically cold, meaning cold, carbon, basically like that. It's defined in Bioline as basically, for the milder type, you can look on the screen. I'm going to mess this word up too. Phensosis, as caused by the accumulation of carbon in the lungs due to repeated exposure to air pollution or inhaling of smoke or coal dust particles. And they allegedly found this in the lungs of a 19-year-old. See on the screen. Pneumococcus, oh gosh, is a general term given to any lung disease. So they try to say she has a mouthful or lung disease basically developing. Any lung disease is caused by dust that is breathed in, and then they're deposited deep in the lungs, causing damage. And it's usually considered an occupational lung disease, which includes asbestos, silicosis, and coal workers, whatever the fuck, CWP, which is also known as black lung disease. I know you've heard of that. Look it up. But again, that's usually dealing with people that's work, in mining, in coals, the caves and shit. Not a 19-year-old smoking weed and popping pills. Okay, remember that. You already said that as far as black lung disease, what you get usually from long exposure to coal dust. It is common in coal miners and others who work with coal. Okay. They say it's similar to both silicosis from inhaling silica dust and to long-term effects of tobacco smoking. Again, you don't get that definition of long-term smoking of cigarettes, for example, from a 19-year-old. And we don't even know if this person allegedly smoked cigarettes, because all the pictures and stuff we saw was always about weed and popping pills, okay? Weed, tobacco, two different things, okay? Remember that. Again, this is a disease that's usually only people, workers. That's a job related type of, disease. Okay, so just remember that. But that's in the, now remember, that's in the autopsy report, but they don't mention a belly button piercing. Okay? Again, talking about the right lung. You see the right lung is, there's no middle one, okay? Because then I also, even though I just read one thing about that, but then I also saw, you said the right lung, I guess in total, you talking about, it said that it weighs 23 grams and the left lung weighs 193 grams, which is like totally weird. But anyway, and I already told y'all that it has it's a total of, the lungs have a total of 5 lobes, but the right lung is the one that has 3 lobes, just because the position and everything in the body and stuff like that. So anyway, it has 3 lobes, upper, middle, and lower. Okay, just so you know, in case you didn't know. I already told you about the weight. So bottom line, if everything's intact, the entire lungs should weigh 2.9 pounds, and the right is heavier. Well, the total amount, if you go by what they say, the total amount of this person's lungs was 1 pound, 7.6 ounces. That's a humongous difference. Okay. Now, I heard a lot of people talking about the, I hope I'm saying it right, but you can see on the screen, the thymus gland. They were saying it was missing. It wasn't in the autopsy report. People, I've seen people do videos. People have been emailing me about that and everything. They say the thymus gland is missing. And I hope if y'all don't get nothing else from this video, what I'm asking is, I don't claim to be better than nobody or nothing like that by far. I'm not going to put no YouTubers down and shit like that. But what I am trying to get you, the viewers, to understand is stop jumping on all these bandwagons just because a motherfucker put a video out saying, oh, it's this, and they got thousands upon thousands of views. That don't mean they know what the fuck they talking about. Because there's a lot of these YouTubers stealing people's videos, first of all. Number two, it's a lot of these YouTubers who are, it's just for sensationalism. They don't give a fuck about the truth, let alone seeking the real truth. I don't give a fuck how many hours somebody's on live stream, doing their little live streams and shit like that, how many videos they throw up and shit like that. What did I tell y'all before about the whole kitchen thing? Everybody tired of going in fucking circles talking about the same shit. And I'm about to hit people to a lot of stuff too in the next video too. But the point of me saying that is, so everybody was jumping on that bandwagon. Oh yeah, that's what, the organ harvesting, which again, don't get me wrong, I still believe in all of that. I ain't changing on that. But what I'm saying is, because of that, people was like, oh yeah, they didn't mention her thymus gland, so that's what they took. Use some fucking common sense. Please, people, do some research. Why the fuck would they take that? Let me just give you a little history on what a thymus gland is. By age 75, the thymus is little more than fatty tissue. The thymus, fortunately, it produces all your T cells by the time you reach puberty. Okay? The thymus is located in the upper anterior front part of your chest, directly behind your sternum and between your lungs. Remember that, between your lungs. The pinkish gray organ has two thymic lobes. See the picture? Oh, how the fuck you know which one is the thymus? Here, motherfucker, I circled it for you, and I put an R for the right lung and an L for the left lung, okay? Let's read. But I'm just reading the highlighted shit. You can pause it and read it if you want, or just look it up. So the thymus, basically, it's associated with the immune system. The thymus serves a vital role in the training and development of your T cells. It's an extremely important type of white blood cell. T cells defend the body from potentially deadly pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, and fungi. It has two distinct but identical lobes. Okay? They're surrounded by a tough fibrous capsule. Okay? Let's go on. Just want you to see that, okay? Now, unlike most organs that grow until the age of maturity, the thymus enlarges throughout childhood, but slowly shrinks from the onset of puberty and throughout adulthood. As the thymus shrinks, its tissues are replaced by a tissue called adipose. You can see ADIPOSE. The shrinking is due to the reduced role of the thyroid in adulthood. The immune system produces most of its T cells during childhood and requires very few new T cells after puberty. If you do your research on this thymus gland, you'll also see that most of the time when transplants are done with the thymus gland, it's for babies. You can't get that gland from a grown person. You can't get it from a 19-year-old because it don't exist. It don't exist. The thymus gland is not in a grown-ass person no more, okay? It don't, because it turns into fat. But again, I'm still going to hip you to something. Again, while everybody's focused on this thymus gland, which again, y'all, you got to watch who you listen to. You got to watch whose videos you watching. Again, I ain't toot my own horn, but shit. Be very careful who you watch and pay attention to on YouTube, for example, because there are a lot of paid agents on YouTube, for example. Pay attention. That's what I keep telling you. If nothing more, when you watch this shit, before you run with it, at least look the shit up. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, like I said, so while everybody focus on that thymus gland, they miss one important thing in that whole little report. That, see what I'm talking about? Reading is fundamental. Okay? Look, I circled it for you and read. The Adipose, I don't fucking care, y'all. Tissue. I know I ain't pronouncing it right. Adipose, we're going to go to posse tissue, okay? The adipose tissue, okay? The thymus, once it shrinks, it is replaced by the adipose tissue. The shrinking is due to the reduced role, like I said, of the thyroid in adulthood, okay? You're probably like, what the fuck is that? And why is that so important? Let me tell you something. Because there has been studies already proven that if you surgically implant take that adipose tissue from one person and you implant it in somebody else, it reverses diabetes. And of course, they did these studies like they do all studies first on mice. So don't get none of that twisted. Oh, they still doing that. They still doing that on mice and shit. You can fucking think that if the fuck you want to. I told y'all before, a lot of this stuff that you see, technology and all this other shit that come out, man, please. That shit been created 20 some years ago. We just now getting it. Did I miss you? Again, if anything was taken out of her, look at that. And you see what was missing. And it's not the thymus gland because you can't, it's not there no more from the dog. It turns into a adipose tissue, which is a fatty tissue. That's what it turns into. But that tissue is also very valuable. Very valuable. Because when transplanted into somebody that has diabetes, for example, that tissue reverses diabetes. Okay? Let me tell you some more about this little scientific what they've been doing. They developed a transgenic mouse, which they named A-zip/F1. I'm gonna call them Zip for the rest of this, okay? Which has virtually no white adipose tissue. Okay? So this Zip prototype basically strikingly resembles that of humans with severe diabetes, including the lack of fat, insulin resistance, and hyperglycemia, and fatty liver. Okay? So the hypothesis basically was, about the metabolic abnormalities are due to the lack of adipose tissue. That's why somebody would need a transplant to reverse their diabetes, okay? Because they're lacking that tissue, that adipose tissue to be exact. Okay? So if the lack of fat is causing the diabetes, reconstitution with normal adipose tissue should make the mice normal, basically. And in the study, they showed that transplantation of the wild type fat into Zip mice reversed the diabetes. Okay? And this results establish fat transplantation as an important new technique. Okay? For studying adipose tissue. They studying this tissue that you didn't even fucking know nothing about. That's in your body if you're a grown ass person. Because they studying it of the mechanisms of the insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Okay? Don't think just some poor people have type 2 diabetes. No, that's not true at all. Okay? Oh, so what am I getting at is what you're probably saying, you have a better chance. For me looking at this right now, you can look at this, what they say, what they use, because they had to breed. They breed males with wild type females. Wild type. Remember, that's the type that they needed for this, the successful, that fat, that tissue, that adipose tissue. So basically what they're saying is, and what I'm getting from this, you have a better chance of producing this needed fat from a female. So you need a female, right? Fat transplantation to avoid rejection. Donor fat was taken from litter mates, 5-week-old Zip females. Now you have to also understand we're talking about mice. In the human world, because we live longer than mice, so in the human world, just being hypothetical, for example, a 19-year-old, that probably would translate into, say, a 5-week-old mouse. Just saying, okay? Because that's where they took it from. Anyway, so like I said, today, the donor fat pads, they take it from the wild type litter mates. They euthanize them by cervical dislocation, replaced into sterile PB. I'm not reading all that. These grafts were implanted, through small incisions. Remember what I'm saying? Small incisions in the shaved skin. One piece per incision. So after surgery, these mice were housed individually for a week. You see that? For a week. Remember what I said about the body being frozen? It takes at least a week to unthaw it. We don't know when that person, that freezer, was killed. But what we do know, if they want us to believe, because remember they said it, if they want us to believe that this person was found frozen solid, We also know by my research and what I showed y'all, it takes up to a week, up to 7 days to unthaw a frozen human being if you do it the right way. So all the organs are still intact. Okay? Exclusively, there were 4 deaths because presumably from the anesthesia. That's another thing. Remember I told you about how shit be going wrong? Mm-hmm. Now, what I'm about to show you, 'cause remember I just said something about the incision, right? So I'm about to show you something. I want to warn you because it's a little graphic. So everybody might not. So I'm just warning you. So meaning if you just keep on watching past this instead of fast forwarding or whatever, or just cutting it the fuck off, don't get mad at me and stay the fuck out the comments. All right, you're warned. So this is a picture, one of the pictures from the body of Kenneka Jenkins in the freezer. I circled it for you and put an arrow there for you can see it. Look at that. It looks like it was healed. It was healed over some. It healed over actually an incision. Looked to be about an inch to me. That's an incision. Because I remember when I saw that, I was like, look, shit. I'm not saying, I guess they weren't close up here. But out of all the other pictures I've seen before, this so-called person they wants to believe is Kenneka Jenkins, I don't ever recall seeing no damn a scar. That's what that is. That's why I circled it. And they didn't mention that. So in the autopsy, not only did they not mention that, they didn't even mention the belly button piercing, which we all know from based off of pictures. And fuck pictures alone, their own pictures that they took at the crime scene. What does this person have in their belly button? A piercing. That's a belly button ring. But they didn't mention that, and they didn't mention that scar. Remember that. Always pay attention to details, and also pay attention to the details that the devil chose to leave out. Because most motherfuckers ain't paying attention. Fat transplantation is feasible. Okay? Just want you to know that. That's why I showed you that incision too, because they even told you about the incision size and all that stuff like that. It is feasible. So in case anybody, oh, that's not feasible, they can't do that shit. Yes, the fuck they can. It's a lot of shit that they can do that you don't know about, like this. Did you know about this? Did you know about it? Also from the autopsy, remember they said all body organs were present. So technically they didn't lie, right? As far I'm not talking about the lobe, we're talking about the lungs. If you want to believe what they're saying all body organs are present. But remember what I just said about that. It's not even an organ. It's fat. It's fatty tissue. It's fatty tissue. It's not an organ. Okay. So technically, hey, they don't have to mention it because it's not an organ. Now let me tell you something else. Something else I came upon. Another reason why. Remember the middle lobe is missing. I'm like, why the fuck would that be missing? And number two, why the fuck is the right lung, which is supposed to be heavier than the left lung, why the fuck did it weigh so little? Okay? Because it's supposed to weigh more than the left lung, but it didn't. Let me tell you something. The lungs serve as an extensive blood supply. Okay? Drugs can diffuse readily into the lungs. Okay? May rely on specialized transport systems to enter the lungs. Lungs are respiratory for many drugs. Okay, you can see on the screen antihistamines, antidepressants, all that, which may be present in greater concentrations in lungs than in the blood, in other tissues. Because I'm about to give you another theory, independent of the route. It has been suggested that lung samples should be collected from the apical lobes rather than from the basal lobes. Because post-mortem diffusion, when someone's already passed away, from gastric contents into the basal lobes, particularly the basal lobe of the right lung, which is in close proximity to the stomach, may lead to elevated drug concentrations. So you would want to get rid of something in that right lung, right? So they don't pick up what the fuck is really in that person's system or would travel through that person's system. Because, right? Remember, we don't know how long that person was dead. We don't know that. Let me give you something else. Another theory. Last one. No, actually, it's not. Well, liver transplantation usually appears to be quite beneficial for treatment of something that's called maple syrup urine disease, which is an inherited disorder. However, there's a limited availability of donor livers worldwide. We know this. That's why there's a black market. Motherfuckers killing people and stealing their shit. Anyway, I'm about to go left, but anyway. But recent studies have suggested that intact adipose tissue, the one I was just talking about, intact meaning it's still there, which are already widely used in reconstructive surgery. Did you know that either? May have an underappreciated high capacity for branched chain amino acid metabolism, BCAA metabolism. So, in this article, we examine the potential for adipose tissue transplant to lower circulating BCAAs in 2 models. You know, they're mice, basically, as they're saying. So anyway, fat transplantation may have merit as a very successful dietary treatment of MSUD. Because remember, that's an inherited disorder. Okay? So you can't just get rid of that like by your diet and shit. That's an inherited disorder. And the only way you're going to get rid of that is by some type of surgery, a transplant. Okay? Of course, they say they need to do more studies for further, bullshit. They already doing this shit. And remember this, I stand still by the black market of organ harvesting. And out of everything, the lungs, $150,000. Everybody want to keep focused on the kidneys. No, kidneys is second to corneas, your eyes. They could have taken her eyes too far. We know. We don't fucking know. The eyes was closed. You don't know. But kidneys, 62,000. Liver, 98,000. Heart and lungs is the most. Okay? That's what I believe. One more thing. The right lung's middle lobe is unique. Remember, that's the one that was missing. That middle lobe is unique. It's also the smallest lobe. The proper surgical treatment and prognosis for cancer of the right middle lobe has not been definitively established. Okay? So maybe somebody have cancer. Oh, I'm sorry. No, not that. What I want to say is this right here can also tell you we don't know who the fuck is in that casket, because there's also been people who said that they did go there to that funeral service. They said it didn't look nothing like her. My point in saying all that is the fact that a middle lobe from right lung was missing. We don't know who that was. That could have been somebody that had cancer before. Okay? Remember that. They could have had cancer. We don't know what it was. Number 2, in the autopsy, when it's noted that the person appears to be of the age that was reported, 19. So there's no definitive fact that Kenneka Jenkins exists. And the reason why I keep fucking saying that is because the fucking Facebook page is gone. You know how many people now have been seen talking about this too, even on Facebook alone? They was like, well, what happened to the page? There's some people, they did screenshots too, because it did exist. I gotta find it, because I thought I did. I thought I screenshotted it too. It did exist, and these motherfuckers ain't gonna get all us with this Mandela shit. We know it existed. Because also, how the fuck you gonna keep saying this person's name was Kenneka Jenkins? But the only pages left up online is Kenneka Martin. I don't give 2 fucks when people say, oh, she went by both names. If that's the case, why has the Kenneka Jenkins, sorry y'all, damn, why has the Kenneka Jenkins Facebook page been deleted? You don't believe me? Like I told y'all before, look it up. You type it in right now. You're going to see 2 pages for Kenneka Martin. One Martin with 1 N, the other one with 2 N's. Okay? I'm about to break that shit down too. The many faces of Kenneka. Okay? Look out for that video. That's coming also this week. Because I'm sick of this shit. And I need people to wake the fuck up. Organ harvesting is real. Gang shit is real. Mafia is real. People in these higher up places, including your own fucking president, including his best friend, all this shit is real. The fuck? Would you think Italians and shit is the only ones that's doing this crooked shit? Really? And I get so tired of ignorant ass people. I had some black female bitch jumped in my comments on the video I just put up. And when I mentioned about Obama, Nesbitt's connection to Obama, that's all I was saying. I did not say, oh yeah, Obama got something to do with this. But I was talking about connections. That's what I need people to understand. We know this even in like your career or business, period. Everybody know it's good to know people in high up places. What the fuck you think they talking about? To get good reservations or discounts and shit? No. It's good to know people in high places for a whole lot of shit, even some shisty, down low shit. If you want to keep yourself out of trouble, it's good to know people in high places. That's what the fuck that means. No, that don't fucking mean a person in a high place actually did the fucking crime, motherfucker. Tired of stupid people. Somebody say, I usually like all your videos, but you went too far when you brought up Obama. Bitch, please. First of all, you still on his dick. I mean, get the fuck off, okay? He don't even like women, but that's another video. Um, but yeah, still, I hate it when people elevate humans to a goddess status. Stop that shit. Them motherfuckers is human. Well, maybe they're not all human, but I'm just saying, but they're passing off as human. But the point is, stop it. Stop it. These demons got you real food. These demons got motherfuckers so food and blind that they missing little shit like I just pointed out. And like I said again, I'm not perfect, but see the difference is, and I know people are like, oh, what took me so long to put that? Motherfucker, what took me so long is because I want to take my time, make sure I didn't miss nothing. That's how you gain credibility. Not by rushing trying to be the first to report some shit. No, you gain credibility by taking your fucking time. Okay? Stop all that rushing and shit. I mean, shit, even the police don't shit, think about it. Even people, you think sometimes police don't move fast enough, something. Look, you got to take your time if you truly want to get to the bottom of something. If you really don't give two fucks about what, how something happened or whatever, why something happened, yeah, you're going to rush. You're going to rush. Bottom line, we don't know who the fuck is in that casket. We don't even know who the fuck that was in that freezer. And the reason why I keep saying that is, and I'm still staying by, there was no one named Kenneka Jenkins. No Jenkins. None of that. No. Because I continually to look at her. We are in fucking October. She was allegedly pronounced dead September 10th, and you still don't see nothing. Nothing. No death records, no nothing. Google the damn name, for example. I mean, seriously. Most of the time, even when you Google Kenneka Jenkins now, Kenneka Martin is coming out. Okay, I'm just trying to make fucking points here. Wake the fuck up. Stop jumping on bandwagons. Take your fucking time. Slow your roll. Read everything and pay attention to details. And I'm talking about in pictures too. Pay attention to what they're showing you and paying attention to what they're not showing you.